I'm sorry I am late because of Salat coming later, so our class in Jose is squeezed, so I have to at least keep 1 hour, 15 minutes instead of 2 hours, and then rush come here. So, but inshallah, I think the time is changing soon, so inshallah. 9 o'clock? Okay. With Q&A? Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our discussion on Nubuwwah, and that is Unit 4 of the book Islamic Belief System. One of the important issues about Nubuwwah is how we can establish whether someone is a true prophet or not. Because in the course of history there have been people who claimed to be prophets. We call them sometimes mutanabbi. We have nabi and we have mutanabbi, someone who claims to be a prophet. Of course, it's name of a poet also, but mutanabbi also is a general title for people who claim to be prophet. And unfortunately, sometimes some people also are attracted to these people, are deceived by these people. So how can we verify the claim of a person who says, I have been sent by God to you to guide you? There are few ways. One is, if we know moral characteristics of this person, if we know that this person is an honest, truthful person who has also have always had good reputation, he is intelligent, he is not a person who has history of mental problems, because sometimes people are honest but they are mentally disturbed, so they're confused, they have illusions, so they think they have seen things or heard things which are not true. But someone very intelligent, very clever, very understanding, successful in life, who has very clear history of honesty and truthfulness, then when he came some claim about this, so you can trust him. Like those who knew Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they knew him for 40 years, and he was known as Sadiqul Amin. No single sin was heard from him, no immoral action was committed by him. No one had any claim of injustice or dishonesty about him. So when this person claims, then we can trust. The second way is, if we have a prophet that we have established that he's a prophet, and he informs us about another person. So he says that this man is a prophet, or a man is going to come, because sometimes prophets lived at the same time. Okay? For example, Prophet Yahya and Prophet Isa and Prophet, Zachariah, they lived together. So if one of them is known to us to be prophet and says the other one is prophet, then you can trust him. Or for example, if they give bishara about the next prophet, مبشرا برسول يأتي من بعدي اسمه أحمد. So they can give bishara, they can give the characteristics, and based on that you can also verify the claim. If none of these are there, then we have a third way, and that is to look into his ability to bring miracles. Does he have any power to bring miracles, mu'jiza? So tonight, inshallah, we want to talk about mu'jiza. Okay? We want to talk about mu'jiza. We cannot show you mu'jiza, but we can talk about mu'jiza. Okay. So mu'jiza comes from ajz. Ajz in Arabic means not to be able to do something. Incompetence. Ajz. Ajiz is someone who is incompetent. And ajuz is a very, for example, old person who has not that much power. For a very, for example, old woman, sometimes it is used. So, it okay, then something like that. For example, someone who had actually died, not someone who was ill only, someone who had actually died, he was able to bring them back. Or someone who was maybe from birth not able to see, he was giving them ability to see. Or some people who had problem on their skins, yes, he used to give them shifa. So doctors and were not happy, but he was not doing in the biggest scale, so that they would not lose their job. Anyway, and he was also making from clay a statue of a bird, blow into it, and it becomes a bird. وَإِذْ تَخْلُقُ مِنَ الطِّينِ كَهَيْئَةِ الطَّيْرِ فَتَنْفُخُ فِيهِ فَيَكُونُ طَيْرًا بِإِذْنِهِ. Allah says, you made مِنَ الطِّينِ, from clay, كَهَيْئَةِ الطَّيْرِ, in the form and shape of a bird, like a statue. فَتَنْفُخُ فِيهِ, then you okay, this was few samples of the miracles of Isa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam also had mu'jiza. The stick that he had, it was special. It could become a snake or dragon, and then again becomes ordinary stick. When Pharaoh brought the magicians, so they brought sticks and ropes that started moving. Okay? But maybe they were not really alive. Maybe they had used, some chemicals that with sunshine would, be becoming liquid and, causing motion. Anyway, they made some trick or some magic, but the stick of Musa alayhi salam swallowed all of them. Abraham, for example, one mu'jiza was that when he asked Allah, Rabbi arni kayfa tuhya al-mawta, my Lord, show me when you revive the dead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, khuz arba'atan min at-tayr, take 4 birds, ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا, then put from parts of each of them on 4 hills or mountains, mix them and put. Then فَسَرْهُنَّ, then you will call them and they will come to you fast. يَأْتِينَكَ سَعْيًا. So these parts got together and became bird and went to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Inshallah, I will come back to these points, and there are some complementary points that I have to mention. So prophets had miracles, and these are miracles that people were very much aware that are not something that they can imitate or reproduce. Actually, one of the characteristics of miracles is that they were chosen in the and Allah what miracle. When it comes, he had, for example, a stone spoke. Or for example, that pillar in Masjidun Nabi, people heard is lamenting or crying. Or moon was divided into two pieces. And many things. But the main mu'jiza of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was something that was relevant to what the people of that time found to be the most amazing thing. For Arabs, literature was very important. Especially poems. Inside there were some statues, some idols, some pictures, but there were also 7 pieces of poem called Al-Mu'allaqat Al-Sab'a. We have them now. 7 pieces of poem made in the time of Jahiliyyah. These were like masterpieces of poem. They were very, as you know, to send very young children to desert so that they can learn pure Arabic, like Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One reason for sending him to desert with Lady Halima was that he would learn pure Arabic, because in Mecca there were people who were coming for pilgrimage, for trade. Okay, so they bring different accents, different terms. They wanted to have pure Arabic, so they used to go to desert. Okay, language is very important. This is the land. We are going to have with the it's very important. If the that they were so can you imagine what is the so sometimes people used to think, okay, let's see what he says, but as soon as they they were when there is dark and sit outside the house of the Prophet and just listen to him when he's reciting during the night, and before it becomes bright they would disappear. One night, and it is very bad if we tell people not to listen to him and they realize we have been here all the night. So they promise each other not to go again. Next night, Allah we have a discussion about how to falsify something. Some philosophers of science say something can be scientific if there is a way to falsify it. If there is no way to falsify it, it's not scientific claim. Okay? For example, they ask me, if you don't believe, go. Okay, in that time, if you go there. In any way, it's very scientific value. The says if you want bring one. They couldn't. Actually, they tried. There is a story in the history that they chose three most capable, uh, poets and writers, and they said, we give you lots of money and 1 year. Each of you produce. After I have to tell you, we don't. Allah, they couldn't. Bring one. Even they couldn't bring like Surah. They tried, but they couldn't. Someone actually made like Surah Al-Fil. Al-Fil wa they wanted to copy Quran, become lafaz. And it is interesting that the challenge of the Quran is still there. So those who want to destroy Islam, instead of spending money and time, they can go and prove. So Quran shows itself how you can falsify me. It's very important. So there magician is sahir. Muhammad is majnoon, is mad. Or if the Quran was shining. But the Quran is not only a miracle from linguistic aspect. Inshallah, we will talk about Quran more. The Quran is also mu'jiza because of its content. The language is something, but it's not all of the Quran. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose among one which is or something, boring, na'udhu billah, we would not become Muslim or believe in Islam, Our faith in Islam is very much dependent on the Quran. If Quran and there is so
It's now question and answer time. Do we have any questions from the ladies to start off with? Or the gents even? If you can just raise your hand.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam.
Just in terms of miracles of Prophet Isa, you said he could make a bird out of clay and blow into it and it became alive. So theoretically speaking, what's the difference between what he does and what Allah did?
He does this bi'idhnillah. So the difference is that he does with the power of Allah, but Allah does it independently.
Did people then see him as God instead of something else, instead of a prophet at the time?
No. Because he was claiming that he was prophet of God. Inshallah, we will mention one of the conditions of mu'jiza is it comes with idda'a'un nubuwwah. He says, I am a prophet. If he doesn't say, I am a prophet, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may not stop him from bringing extraordinary acts. But if someone says, I am a prophet, then Allah would not let a lie by our mutakallimin, so that if they are
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Can I just ask, with the miracles which happen in Karbala, we don't call it miracle because there's no prophet's involvement or anything, but how do we classify these
We
things
call it
which you
karama.
can't explain?
Inshallah we will talk.
Okay.
So sometimes we say mu'jiza, but technically it's better to keep mu'jiza for the prophets, and for imams and awliyaullah we say karamat. Karamat.
Any further questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
I read somewhere recently that the staff that you mentioned of Hazrat Musa, that staff actually was present with every prophet and was passed down. Is there any truth in that?
It doesn't seem. Maybe the next prophet, some of them, for example, maybe it's staying with them as a higher, not all of them, but for example, it's passed down by generation, but not before.
Not before. Okay.
Because Quran says that was a normal thing, and Allah says to Musa, "Ma tilka biyaminaka ya Musa." What is in your right hand? He said, "Hiya asai, atawakkau alayha wa akhushu biha ala ghanami wa liya fiha ma'aribu ukhra." It was a normal stick. He said, I feed my animals, drop leaves, and I use it also for other benefits. So it was very normal. A snake or dragon.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I think we'll make this the last question before the break.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Is there a reason that we've come up with or something as to why the imams weren't also given the quality of being able to perform miracles, so that it makes us more clear like who they are in terms of like if the imam of our time were to come, then based on the criteria that we look at who a prophet is, we can also use that to look at who the imam is?
Yes, in the discussion about imama also we have a similar point, how we can realize someone is imam, because there were people who claimed to be imam. Yeah, even among children of imam there were people who claimed, or for them it was claimed that they are imam. So we say again, if the previous imam or the prophet have introduced them, otherwise he himself should have signs that is like mu'jiza, what we call it karama, that make you sure that he is imam. Okay? Therefore, my understanding is when Imam Mahdi comes, you would have no difficulty in understanding that he is imam if you don't have any conflict of interest. Those who Inshallah. No. I just make two. Pardon?
Yeah, I'll give you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sheikhna.
You're welcome.
A couple of announcements from me, and then a couple of announcements from Sheikh Shomali. First announcement is for the next 2 weeks, you should know from the timetable that the lessons will take place on Wednesdays rather than Tuesdays. This is because of the month of Rajab, and there's a mosque program is going to be held here, I think, on Tuesdays. So for the next 2 weeks, classes will be held on Wednesdays. And another announcement, very important, is Khanum Haidarpur is not present today. So those that usually attend her class, just for this week, they have the choice of attending either Sheikh Shomali's class or Sheikh Mirza Abbas's class upstairs. And Sheikh Shomali wanted to give a short announcement as well.
Yes. Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. One is that, inshallah, there is new issue of Islam today, so you can, inshallah, take. Inshallah, in end of this month, from March 25th to March 30th, some schools are also at that time in Easter holidays, but some maybe not. So we are going to have, inshallah, for the second time, a course on Islamic education for teachers or non-teachers. Of course, teacher maybe would benefit more. About Islamic theory of education. We will review some major issues of Aqa'id and Akhlaq, but also methodology of teaching and Aqa'id and Akhlaq. So it will be, inshallah, from children, there is daycare, and it will be an Islamic center, would be teaching, taught by me, my wife, and Sister Shahnaz Safiuddin and Sister Isra Safiuddin, who would come from US. And the poster is there, and there is also information pack. There is a fee for registration, £100, but you will be reimbursed if you pass the course. Plus, you will qualify for taking part in Risalat course in Qom for 2 weeks. You just would pay for your ticket, and the course would be free. So, if you or you know, so if you know other sisters, also please inform them. You can take the, inshallah, poster or information pack. So this is what I wanted to say. And I just 2-3 minutes also talk about my trip to Canada, because I feel we are as a community, we should share things. So Alhamdulillah, I went on the 28th of February. So I arrived in Toronto. Then the same day I went to Waterloo, and I had a lecture in Conrad Grebel College, which is a college inside the University of Waterloo, but it belongs to Mennonite Christians, joint with Lutheran Seminary. So these two, plus Islamic studies of the university, and also Muslim community, and Grand River Interfaith Network. So my talk was about unity of God and unity in God, which I put on Facebook, the audio of it and some pictures. So Alhamdulillah, that was well received. Then we had a retreat for Kauthar Learning Circle. These are brothers and sisters from Canada, US, and other countries. So we had some 80 people, Alhamdulillah. We started from Thursday evening up to Sunday after Salat al-Zuhr. And we used to start from 5 a.m. So before Azan al-Fajr, people were getting ready. We had Salat al-Fajr. Then we had Tafsir. I don't know if you saw the link. I put 3 sessions on Surah Alaq, the beginning of Surah Alaq. We had a few sessions on Hadith Imam Sadiq to Inwan al-Basri about Ubudiyya and spirituality, and some other sessions. Then I went to Ottawa. I had a program in a new organization called ARC, and then I visited a Islamic school and gave a talk about education. Then Monday night we had a program in Carleton University. So Ahlul Bayt Societies of Ottawa University and Carleton University and TMA together organized this, and that was about the position of Islam and Muslims in the West. So this was a quick report. There were lots of beautiful encounters. Inshallah, when I get chance, I mention, inshallah. Thank you for your du'as. Inshallah, tomorrow I'm going to Stockholm for 2 days for a conference, and inshallah I need your du'as, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If we can now break for Tabarruk, keep it as minimum as possible, and return back to the seats for the next class.